Abihail's secret power, the niece that bound David's kingdom, King David's time, that was a real high point for Israel. The kingdom came together, grew, and a royal family line was set up that would be talked about for ages, now a huge part of. All that was family, who married who was allied with whom, and who was next in line for the throne. It was a complicated business, and right in the middle of all these famous folks like Solomon and Rehoboam, there's this woman, Abihail. She wasn't a queen calling the shots or a prophetess making grand pronouncements, but her story, which unfolds through who she married and who her children were, gives us a really interesting peek into the quiet strategies that kept David's throne secure. It seems her connections were a kind of hidden strength, the web of royalty. Who was Abihail? Who exactly was Abihail, and why should we care? To get a handle on her importance, we need to look at her family tree. The Bible, specifically in 2 Chronicles 11:18, tells us Abihail was the daughter of a man named Eliab, and Eliab, he was the son of Jesse. Now, if that name Jesse rings a bell, it's because he was also King David's father, making Eliab David's oldest brother. Yep, the same Eliab that the prophet Samuel first thought might be the next king because he looked the part long before David was picked. So, this makes Abihail King David's niece. She's right there, smack in the middle of Jesse's prestigious family and definitely in the royal circle. Even though she wasn't David's own daughter, her family ties were super close to the throne. Strategic union. Abihail and Abihail's story really gets interesting when we look at who she married. That same Bible verse, 2 Chronicles 11:18, mentions that Mahalath, who became King Rehoboam's wife, was the daughter of two people. Jerimoth, one of King David's sons, and are Abihail. So, let's connect the dots. Abihail, David's niece, married Jerimoth, who was David's son. Now, Jerimoth isn't a name that usually pops up when we list David's sons from his main wives. Many experts think he might have been the son of a concubine, but he was still a prince, part of the royal family. Think about that for a second, the king's niece marrying the king's son. That's a pretty significant match, isn't it? Marriages like this within the extended royal family were often a smart way to bring everyone closer, build loyalty, and make sure all the different parts of David's growing family felt connected, the next generation, Mahalath, and the future king but where Abihail's family line really makes its mark is with her daughter, Mahalath. As that verse clearly tells us, Mahalath, the daughter of Abihail and Jerimoth, ended up marrying Rehoboam and Rehoboam. He was Solomon's son and King David's grandson, the guy who took over the throne of Judah when the kingdom eventually split. So, because of this marriage, Abihail, who was David's niece and his daughter-in-law, also became King Rehoboam's mother-in-law. Pretty connected, right? And it doesn't stop there. Her daughter Mahalath had 3 sons with Rehoboam, Jush, Shemariah, and Zalm. This means Abihail's grandkids were directly in line for the throne, knitting her family even deeper into the royal story, the secret power, binding the bloodline. This is where we see Abihail's quiet but really important influence, her secret power, you could say. Mahalath's marriage to Rehoboam wasn't just two people falling in love. It was a seriously powerful mixing of David's family lines. Think about it. Mahalath was David's granddaughter through her dad, Jerimoth, and his great-niece through her mom, Abihail, who was the daughter of David's brother Eliab. This marriage basically braided together two separate family lines that both traced back to Jesse, David's father. Why does this matter? Well, it massively boosted the Davidic dynasty's claim to the throne and showed a united front. Back then, your family tree was everything, and kingdoms could easily split apart. So, marriages like these were often super strategic. They were about locking down power, making sure different family groups stayed loyal, and really hammering home that the royal family was here to stay. The Bible doesn't spell out Abihail's personal reasons or explicitly call her powerful, but when you look at the family connections, you can't miss her unique role in tying the kingdom's future together more than a name in a list asterisk now. Abihail isn't like Esther or Deborah. You know, women in the Bible whose incredible actions get whole chapters dedicated to them. Her name, which can mean something like "my father is strength," mostly shows up in family lists, and hey, just a quick note, it's easy to mix her up with Abigail, who was David's asterisk sister asterisk and Amis's mom. The Abihail we're talking about, Eliab's daughter, made her mark in a different way. There are actually a few women named Abihail in the scriptures, but her asterisk specific family ties are what make her stand out. Even though King Rehoboam had other wives, like Maasach, who was apparently a big favorite, the person writing Chronicles makes a point of carefully listing Mahalath's parents. They link her right back to David through both her father, Jerimoth, and her mother, Abihail, Eliab's daughter. The fact that they bothered to include all that detail, it really tells you this particular family line was a big deal. The Bible is just packed with people whose stories might be short, but boy, do they offer some amazing insights. If you love uncovering these hidden figures from history and figuring out the fascinating ways dynasties worked, then you know what to do. So, Abihail, daughter of Eliab, niece of David, wife of David's son, and mother-in-law to King Rehoboam. She wasn't on the throne, she wasn't leading armies, and she wasn't delivering earth-shattering prophecies, but through the quiet, lasting power of family connections and smart lineage choices, her life was absolutely part of what held the Davidic dynasty together. Her story is a great reminder that influence isn't always loud and flashy. Sometimes the deepest connections, the ones that really matter, aren't found in big royal announcements, but in the simple, steady records of families through the ages. Abihail's legacy shows us the incredible, often hidden, strength in family bonds, a genuine, secret power that helped keep a kingdom whole. Go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe for more deep dives into biblical stories, and definitely drop a comment below. Let us know about other overlooked people from the Bible whose stories you think need a spotlight.